The first book I finished in February was We Were 8 Years in Power, An American Tragedy by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is a nonfiction book that is a collection of essays that he published with The Atlantic. First of all, I listened to the audio, as you can see, and the critiques I have of the book are dealing with the audio. It wasn't read by Ta-Nehisi Coates. When I listened to Between the World and Me, it was read by him, so you got to hear his Baltimore accent and all that. This was read by someone else, and you could tell the parts where editing had to occur and they had to dub over, so that was a little off-putting, as well as the narrator sometimes used the wrong words, and it was like, ooh, I don't think he meant that. So even the editing process for the audio was not that good. But all that to the side, still Ta-Nehisi Coates writing, his words, everything that he wanted to express still came across very well in the book, but it was just the recording of the audiobook that was not the best to me. Many of the essays I had heard of already that he had written, or maybe even read parts of them. But the part that I really liked most about this collection was his own analysis of his writing. And anytime a writer can step back and give a full critique of what they put on paper is always enlightening to me. And so I really enjoyed that part of the book. And I realized when reading it, he can describe something that occurs in our personal lives on a systematic manner. And I felt the same way like reading The Warmth of Other Suns, because Isabel Wilkerson, to me, it was just like every black person's story. We all had family that moved from the South to the North, but she broke it down in a systematic way. Many of the same things he talks about, I've experienced personally. If someone in my family has experienced personally, but he shows how it occurs on a system scale. And so I really appreciate that about his writing and his insight into American history, as well as current political events. If you get a chance, definitely check that out. It was a great first read to get done for February. This is my book club selection for February, and it is my second read for the month of February, and it is called The Angel of Harlem by Kuwana Haulsey, and it tells the story of Dr. May Chin. She was the first female doctor at Harlem Hospital, and it is a historical fiction novel. And I am on my way to book club meetings, so I can't wait to see what they say about it, because they are quite lively when it comes to historical fiction. But for me, I probably would have ripped some of these chapters out if it wasn't a library copy and put them in order. The author uses flashback at the beginning of the story, and that really irks me because I'd rather just read the story straight through. But other than that, it's a pretty good book. It made me want to investigate more about the Harlem Renaissance, because she uses a lot of people from the Harlem Renaissance in the story, like Zora and Hurston, Countee Cullen, Paul Roberson. From stuff that I had questions about the story, I looked it up, and it actually was factual. So I think it's going to be a good discussion, and I can't wait. I listened to Paul Beatty's The Sellout. This book won the Man Booker Prize, and he was the first American to do it. And it also is a chosen by Runwright Reads for her monthly book club. I agreed to participate in the book club discussion, so that's why I was listening to it, because my library did not have a actual hard copy of the book, just the audio, so that was why I was listening to it on audio. I really don't know how to feel about this book. It is a satire about an unknown character who we know is an African-American male who owns a slave, and his case goes all the way to the Supreme Court. So you can only imagine how this story is going to go. and it probably don't go how you imagine. The author is just freaking brilliant. He is brilliant because he throws so many topics that affect black people, and not just black people, but all kind of minorities. Like, you know, he talks about what happened to the Japanese during World War II. He talks about Native Americans, talks about Hispanics. He does it in such a creative and brilliant way. It's the part that makes me not know how I feel about it is he uses the N-word and a lot of curse words, and those are things I'm sensitive to, and so it just makes me feel like, why did I sit there and listen to this whole book with all that going on? It's a satire, and it has piqued my curiosity about satire, so I do want to read more books with satire, so I'm appreciative of it for that. There was only one joke that I literally just fell out laughing at, and I'm driving while I'm listening to it. But after I laughed at the joke, I was like, why did I laugh at that? Why did I laugh at that? And I think that's probably the point of the book. Are some things happening, and why do they occur? That's just my take on it. I'm listening to another audiobook for the month, which I probably won't get it done before February is over with, but it is Kevin Hart's I Can't Make This Stuff Up. I Can't Make This Up, Life Lessons by Kevin Hart. And several people I've seen on Booktube have read it or listened to it. It is hilarious. Some of the stuff I've already heard him talk about before, but I gotta finish this book because I am a fan of Kevin Hart, because you have, no matter if you don't think he's funny, you have to respect his ethic because he works hard. And the part I love about him is he's always trying to bring up other comics, and it's not just about him. So I appreciate that in him. So I'm going to finish that even if it goes into March. My last read of February is Tar Baby by Toni Morrison. And this is a library copy that's bound, so that's the cover of it. And I read this along with everyone else that was participating in hashtag Read So Lit, and that was spearheaded by Beatty at Brown Girl Reading. I thought I had read Tar Baby before, but I didn't remember a thing when started to read it for the read along. So it was like reading. I really honestly thought I had read it before. It was a challenge, and majority of the time Toni Morrison's writing is a challenge for me. But once I got into the rhythm of her writing, when she would give you like details of the story and then back up and give you the details, the actual run up to what was going on in the story, it was fascinating, and I couldn't wait to get done. And then when I got done, I was like, that's it. So it basically tells the story of a young model who is living with her aunt and uncle and their employers who are white. They're all on the island in the Caribbean, but you're experiencing things that happen in Europe and in the US as well as on this island. And she confronts so many stereotypes and relationships between black and white, as well as between men and women. That was amazing to put in, because the book is not that long. It's only like 300 pages, but it was a lot. And so I'm really looking forward to the discussion. It's been an awesome month. So just to recap, I read a series of essays from Ta-Nehisi Coates. I did a book of satire, 2 audiobooks, and a Toni Morrison. It's just been an awesome reading month. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.